Hello guys, I hope you're all doing great. Welcome to another video, and in this one, I'm going to be breaking down the best way to monetize your online audience in 2025. And for those who don't know me yet, my name is Victor, and last year I was able to generate over $400,000 in revenue with my very own online audience. And here are just a couple of results which my clients were able to generate as well. So we've got Pasha over here, who went from about 1 to 2K per month to hitting a 24K per month within 180 days. You can see over here, he made 4K in less than 20 hours using these strategies, using these systems. We've got Aiden, who went from $200 a month to hitting a 20K month. You know, he was fucking around with little low ticket sales, $20, $30. I told him, bro, join the team. Let's get you straight into high ticket. And literally within the first 24 hours, he was able to close 1.5K in sales. And then a couple of months later, as you can see over here, he went from 200 a month to then hitting 20K per month in June, which is crazy. And then we've got Ed as well, who went from 0 to 5 figures a month within 3 months. Okay. These are just a couple of client results, just so you guys can see that what we do actually works. And this is the best way to monetize your audience. And if you want to see even more results, then feel free to check out my Instagram at CEOVictor and check out all of my highlights below. So right now, the biggest mistake which I see creators making is that they try to monetize their audience with either a low tier school community, low ticket products, or reselling other people's products. And I'll tell you guys right now, this is literally the slowest way to monetize your audience, okay? Low ticket is going to attract low quality clients. You know, you need hundreds or thousands of sales every single month just to hit that 5 figure per month mark. You have no direct control of client results because you're just not able to provide that kind of one-on-one support for that kind of price range. You always have to come up with new product ideas in order to get paid. You get much more headaches for less reward, and it's very, very difficult to scale unless you already have a massive, massive audience, okay? Now, what you want to do if you do have an audience and you have a skill is, instead of doing all of this low ticket crap, okay, which is just going to cause you a lot of headaches in the future, you want to just build your very own high ticket offer, okay? And this is exactly, how me and my students are able to generate these kind of results, is by just building a high ticket offer. And with a high ticket offer, you're able to just solve a specific problem for your audience. It allows you to charge more premium prices. You're able to work with your dream clients, and you only need around 5 to 10 clients a month, and you're already at 5 figures a month. So imagine you've got, 5K followers, 10K followers, 20K followers, 50K followers. All you need is 5 to 10 followers out of that follower range to buy from you, and you're already at 5 figures a month. Whereas with low ticket, like I said, you need hundreds of thousands of sales just to get there. You're in much more control of your own client result because you can actually work with people directly. It's easier to scale with a smaller audience, and you can evolve the same offer over time. You can just create one offer and you can just keep adding more and more value to it as you learn more and more and as you produce more and more results. So it's just a lot more scalable, and it's a lot more fulfilling because you're actually able to work with your dream clients and you're actually able to provide them with the results that they pay for, okay? So that is why I believe high ticket is the best way to monetize your audience. So let me actually now break down the exact 6-step process that you guys need to do in order to actually monetize your audience, okay? And in order to be able to build your very own high ticket offer. So the very first step of building your own high ticket offer is going to be actually doing some market research and defining your ideal client avatar, which essentially means who do you want to help and who can you help? So these are the kind of questions that you want to ask yourself before you even start building your offer. What is your avatar's current and desired situation? What are their biggest frustrations, challenges, and problems? What's the worst that can happen if they don't solve these problems? What's the best case scenario if they do solve these problems? Who do I want to work with that has this problem? What's stopping them from solving this problem by themselves? What does your avatar social media profile look like? Who else is offering a similar solution to your client avatar? And how will you make your solution unique? So these are the kind of questions that you want to ask yourself. And the more detail that you go in, the more specific you can make your offer. And that way you can charge even more premium prices because you're attracting a much more specific audience, okay? So that is the very first step, is defining your ideal client avatar. Once you've done that, you can then move into crafting your offer, okay? So here you want to basically list out how will your offer get your ideal client from point A, which is their current situation, to point B, which is their desired situation. Now, high ticket sales and building a high ticket offer is all about transformation, helping your client get from point A to point B. And your offer needs to help them get there. And that's going to be the bridge between point A to point B. So you want to basically list out every step that your client needs to make in order to actually get from point A to point B. Okay, so you can kind of list it like this. Step 1, what will your client need to accomplish / learn to learn the step? And you want to keep this around 6 to 10 steps maximum. You don't want to make it like a 20-step program. Otherwise, it's going to be way too long, okay? So you want to have like 6 to 10 main steps. And these are going to be like the key steps. And they're going to basically represent the overall framework of your offer and what's actually going to be included in it, okay? Once you've crafted the offer, you can then summarize your offer and package your offer. So this is basically just, titling your offer, you can say. So I help ideal client achieve dream outcome in X amount of time. So for example, I help 9 to 5ers replace their job with Instagram theme pages within 180 days. Or I help skinny guys get jacked within 10 weeks. Or I help students start a side hustle within 3 months. Okay. So this is basically just summarizing the offer. Who do you help? What do you help them with? And then what kind of time frame can you help them in? Okay. That is kind of one version that you can do to summarize your offer. Or you can also do, I help ideal client achieve dream outcome without X pain. So without X pain point. So for example, I help introverts make money on Instagram without having to show themselves online. I help agencies scale to 10K per month without wasting money on ads. Or I help busy professionals stay in shape without following boring diet plans. So these are all some potential pain points that your ideal client avatar might be facing. Of course, introverts want to make money, but they don't want to show themselves online. So that's a good line for that. Or, agencies want to scale organically. They don't want to waste money on ads. That's another pain point you can address directly. And this one as well. Okay. So this is basically going to be your overall summary of your offer. So if anyone asks you hey man, what do? You should be able to answer them in one line. And that one line should basically be a summary of your offer like this. Okay. So once you've built out your offer and you've got a good offer to sell, the next pillar or the next step is going to be lead generation. So actually generating leads towards that offer. So the best way to do that is going to be through organic content. Okay. So you want to go ahead and do some market research and find 10 to 20 creators in a similar niche to you and make a list of their best performing content within the last 90 days. And you want to go ahead and just take a note of what's working well. So check what hooks are working well, what kind of trending audio is working well, what content style they're posting. And you want to basically remodel that content so that it suits your ideal client avatar and your offer. And you want to be posting that every single day consistently. So the more detail that you go into here, which is defining your ideal client avatar, the more ideas you will have when it comes to actually your organic content and basically speaking directly to your ideal client avatar and helping them solve their problems and showing that you're actually a person that's qualified to solve their problems. Okay. So you can use a rough sequence like this. For example, this is a content sequence. So on Monday, you can drop a value reel. So you can just spread some value in your market. On Tuesday, you can do a step-by-step reel, which explains kind of step-by-step what you do. On Wednesday, you can do a shift limiting beliefs post. So this is basically counter any potential limiting beliefs. Thursday can be a transformational story. This can be your own personal transformation, how you went from point A to point B yourself. If people see that you went through that process yourself, then they're much more likely to buy from you since they see that this guy already did it himself. Another value reel on Friday. Client transformation on Saturday. The more client results you have, the more you should be showing that off. That's one of the most powerful tools that you have as well. And then Sunday can be a simple carousel post. Okay, this is just a rough example of a content sequence which I used to follow back in the day. But of course, you guys can customize this towards your own audience, towards your own offer, and towards whatever content style is working well in your market at whichever time you're watching this video. Okay, so you should be able to create a content sequence pretty easily if you do this market research correctly. This will give you like a base of good ideas and a base to just kind of collect data, see what's working well, see what's not working well. And then once you do this for about 1 or 2 months, then of course you can actually go ahead and look at the data and then double down on what's working well. And then you can also start coming up with your own ideas as well, just to make your content even more unique. But if you are starting off, I would recommend to just remodel because that way you're just guaranteed to get more views, get more engagement because it's already working well in the market. Okay. Now, alongside the content sequence, you should be posting reels every single day. That's going to be one of the easiest ways to generate leads towards your offer. Alongside that, you also want to be doing story sequences. So this is going to be a CTA towards your offer, so a call to action where you're directly promoting your offer on your stories. You want to be showing off your client results. You can show off your lifestyle. More CTAs. You want to do at least like 2 to 3 CTAs a week. Transformation story once again, drop value, and then on Sunday you can take a rest day. This is another example of a story sequence I used to follow. Of course, you guys can customize this based on your own offer, based on your own kind of marketing sequences. But you need to be posting reels and stories, almost every single day, just to really nurture your audience and just to keep generating more leads towards that offer. Okay. And like I said, having a schedule to post certain types of reels and stories is essential to getting consistent inbound leads and to just nurture your audience even further. So to start off with, just posting content like this is a good start, just to kind of build that foundation, build that initial trust, and just to kind of get your views up and running. And then as you keep posting, you want to start redirecting your audience from your organic content into an organic funnel. Okay. And in this organic funnel, you're basically going to include a 10 to 15 minute VSL, which is a video sales letter, which explains more about who you are, what you do, and who you help. Okay. And this is going to just help nurture your audience even further. Now, I'm not going to explain in too much detail how this organic funnel looks like in this video because I actually recorded a whole video just explaining how to set this funnel up. So after the video, if you do want to set this funnel up for yourself, then feel free to check out the video that I posted. I'll also drop it somewhere in the description, or just check out my channel and it will be there as well. Okay, so that is how to generate leads towards your offer, especially if you're starting out. You don't want to be running ads, you don't want to be doing anything else really. Just organic content and organic funnel will be more than enough to help you get to your first 10 to 20k per month. Okay, and then once you get to like 10 to 20k per month, then you can maybe stop playing around with ads. But before that, there's really no point. Okay, organic content and organic funnel will be more than enough. Now, the third pillar is going to be messaging. And this is a very, very important pillar because this is going to be how you're able to convert these leads into booked calls. And then, of course, once you book that call, then you can convert them to clients. But this is going to be the middle ground between generating the leads and actually getting the sales. So very important, because without any booked calls, you won't be able to get any clients. So there's going to be two main types of messaging. You're going to have the warm messaging and you have the cold messaging. So with the warm messaging, you want to go ahead and engage with everyone who is in your current network. So any inbound leads that are coming from these stories, any new followers, any likes, any comments, any story views, any poll voters, you want to go ahead and reach out to everyone that's in your network and just start talking to them. Check up on them, see how they're doing, see if you can help them in any way, and basically just push them towards that booked call where you can help them even further. You want to only be doing around 50 messages per day just so you don't get action blocked. So keep that number in mind. And I would also recommend to kind of spread it out throughout the day. So, like 10 in the morning, 10 like 2 hours later, and kind of just spread it out throughout the day just so you don't risk getting action blocked. And once you run out of warm leads to contact, then you can also go into cold. So in the cold outreach, you can do network of network, which is called the one degree of separation. So basically, let's say that you find a follower over here, you can then go into his network, you can go into his following, and then you'll find another whole network of potential leads for you. You can go to communities, school, Discord, Facebook, Reddit, explore page. You can go through hashtags, you can type in keywords in your search bar, you can go to suggested for you pages. So once you do run out of warm leads, make sure to go to those cold leads because there's going to be another just unlimited goldmine of leads there for you guys to go through as well. Okay, but only go to cold once you run out of warm. You always want to prioritize warm because these guys actually already know who you are, they already follow your content, so it's going to be much easier to nurture them and to actually get them into a booked call. Okay, so that is the third pillar, which is messaging. And then of course, once you've booked the call, you then go into sales. So this is going to be actually going ahead and closing the client on a call. Okay, so this is kind of like a rough sales process you guys can follow. Once again, not going to go into too much detail in this video. If you guys want me to film a whole video around a sales process and how we were able to close at around a 35% closing rate, then feel free to let me know and I can get that done for you guys. But just for the sake of simplicity and so that this video doesn't go over 1 hour, this is kind of like the rough framework you want to follow. So number one, you want to have like a pre-call ritual. So hop on the call 5 to 10 minutes before, scout out their profile, make sure you're kind of ready with the rough questions you want to ask. And then you want to go into the introduction. So introduce yourself, who you are, kind of set the agenda for the call, what it's going to be about, understand their current situation, discover their desired situation, ask some urgency questions along the way to kind of raise those emotions, get them into that buying state. Then you of course want to pitch your program, pitch your offer, which you should have built in the very first pillar. Handle any objections once you've pitched it, and then close the sale. Okay, that's kind of like the rough 9-step process you want to follow when it comes to the sales process. And that itself is going to help you guys start getting your first couple of clients. Okay, just these 4 pillars alone. And then once you start getting your first couple of sales, you start scaling, you then want to look into automation, which is the 5th pillar. Okay, and the very first step of automation is going to be starting to build a team. Now, this is only relevant once you're already making around, I would say, 5 to 10k per month minimum. Before that, you should still be doing all of this yourself, basically. But once you have that 5 to 10k per month mark, then you can, of course, start to look at how you can automate some of these tasks so that you can start putting your focus on other higher leverage activities, and you can start outsourcing those lower leverage activities, which you can easily outsource to someone else. Okay, so the first couple of roles that you want to look to outsource, number one is content creator. So you don't really want to be sitting there editing your own content all day. I would say that is usually the first role you want to outsource right away, as soon as you can, to be honest. That will give you a lot more free time to focus on other areas of your business. Number 2 is appointment setter. So someone to basically handle all of the messages for you so you can focus more on the closing. And just a content creator, just an appointment setter, that alone can easily get you to like 10 to 20k per month. And then once you start getting your calendar stacked, you've got no more room in your calendar, then you can also look to bring in a closer. So this will be someone else that will also help you close those deals. And then And once you start building your sales team, you can also potentially hire a sales manager. But honestly, this isn't really that necessary until you're at around 30 to 50K per month. Okay, so for most of you watching the video, these are like the two main roles you want to outsource as quick as possible. And then once you get to that 10 to 20K per month range, your calendar is literally stacked to the brim. You can't take any more calls. Then you can look to bring on a closer. Okay, so that's the kind of team you want to start building once you're in that fifth pillar of automation. And then you can also go ahead and start building some systems. And systems are basically going to be processes and instructions that you put in place so that your business can start running on autopilot and it doesn't have to rely on you every single day. So this can be things like Slack channel automations, Zapier automations, like an auto onboarding process, auto data tracking, and you can also use AI to start automating tedious tasks. So these will be just things that will just make your life as a business owner a lot easier, and it will just help you stay a lot more organized. Okay, so that is the fifth pillar, which is automation. And then the sixth and last pillar is going to be delivery. So this is going to be actually delivering your product or your service to your clients. And this is very, very important, because if you can't deliver your product or your service, you're going to struggle to get clients, because at the end of the day, one of the most powerful marketing tools is going to be word of mouth. So if you can generally provide great results in the market, you can deliver a world-class service, then you're going to be able to get clients easily. Okay, so delivery, the very first part of that is going to be support. So how are you actually going to deliver your product, your service, and how will you be able to support them along the way? So this could be through a course. You can have a community, group calls, live sessions, one-on-one calls. If so, how many would they get? Any extra support via text, and potentially any done for you elements if that is required. And then as you're scaling, you want to go ahead and look at product evolution. So as you learn more and you generate more and more results for your clients, you can just keep adding more and more value to your offer so that you keep gradually increasing the price. And you can, of course, use client feedback to see how you can further improve that experience. And like I said, guys, word of mouth is one of the most powerful marketing tools out there. So if your clients win, you will win as well. Okay, so make sure that you don't just keep the same offer, the same product for like years and years. Update it, I would say, every couple of months, and just keep adding more and more value to it. And that's going to help you just create a monster product, after like 1 or 2 years. And that way you'll be able to just get more and more client results. And in return, you'll be able to get more clients for yourself. Okay. All right, guys. So that is basically the 6-step process summarized. This is the best way to monetize your audience in 2025. These are the 6 pillars you need to put in place in order to build a successful coaching company, in order to build a successful high ticket service. So yeah, if you guys are a creator or you're an existing coach and you want help with starting or scaling your very own coaching business and monetizing your audience, and you want our help with setting all of this up for yourself, feel free to click the link in the description to book a quick call with me and my team, and we can kind of see exactly how we can help. And yeah, we basically help you guys on a pay and results basis. So if we can't help you scale, you don't pay. So with that being said, it is completely risk-free. If you are interested, click the link below. If not, then just subscribe to the YouTube. I'll be dropping even more value like this in the upcoming videos. So yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.